Let's have a look. Oh, welcome to the Flogsville podcast, coming to you live from Zoom on this Wednesday night, the 30th of March, 2022. Put the date in there for no reason, but that's okay. Welcome. We've got a few coaches here to join us. We've got Ben, coach at Guns N' Roses. Hello, mate.
Hello, Commissioner. How are you?
Well, thanks. Good, thank you. We've got Rabs joining us. Hello, Rabs.
Hello, mate. Nice to be making a very short trip to tonight's podcast, just to the other room.
Very good. And joining us all the way from Darwin is Phenomenals coach Tom. Hello, Tom.
Hello, Scott. How are you tonight?
Yeah, good, thank you. Can you hear us okay on the delay there?
Yeah, sorry, it seems to be a bit of a delay here.
That's some ripping stuff early on here, boys. We're off to a good start. So shall we get through? Of course, we started round one. Teams were pumped to start about that. We had a bit of a vote and a bit of a mixed bag of results, and then sort of this round we saw and some more different results and that sort of thing. So let's go through it and just jump straight into it with our pick of the week. And of course, for the second week in a row, the Guns N' Roses. Ben, congratulations. I don't have a pig sound with me, but let's just a bit of a round of applause.
How about me?
So a very good start from your boys, mate. What's worked really well?
Yes, thank you, mate. What has worked well? I think, pretty much picking everyone who's had value, and they've all done their job. Notably, Andrew Brayshaw has been the pick of the year through the first two rounds. But yeah, no one really underperforming both weeks, which I think is good. If one had the poor first week, then they bounce back the second week and vice versa. But yeah, just being pretty steady and locking away a couple of uniques, but keeping pretty vanilla as well. So far, so good.
Excellent. No, it's good to hear, mate. A very imposing start. Got yourself in hat contention early, which is good. You're up and about based on events on the weekend with a couple of other of our coaches. Off to a flyer at the Guns N' Roses.
Yes, on and off field, I guess things are going reasonably well. Apart from the pathetic power, but we won't mention that on such a podcast.
No.
But yeah, no, it's nice to see a good preseason come through with some results early. So,
very good, mate. Of course, we always have the pick of the week, and then we've also had a double spud of the week in Daniel Healy. Unfortunately, with an 18. Let's have a look. 1872. Not a good year, that one. A disappointing start for him. We sort of spoke a little bit about in the group chat last week. Mitch Duncan and Jake Lloyd not playing is not ideal. So potentially a limited preseason over there at Total Eclipse of the Heart, which is a name change also. Any thoughts, boys, on Daniel's team and start to the year?
I don't know about a limited preseason. Just seems to be a bit of a limited season at the moment. Seems to have done a bit of work during the off season, but hasn't quite paid attention in the last week or two by the looks of it, Scott.
Hopefully he'll lift the next couple of weeks and get back up there. Not a good record to be losing to Team GC.
A bit of feedback from my former assistant coach and now co-coach of the Sisterhoods.
Yes.
But the name of Daniel Healy's team, including the great Paddy Cripps, and not quite doing justice at this stage to what the great man's been able to put out in rounds 1 and 2 of this season. So, a bit of feedback on the name there from a new coach to the league.
Excellent, guys. Yep. So hopefully Hills can bounce back starting this week. All right. Well, let's have a look through, I guess, pretty briefly, because we had round 1 as well. So we might just sort of focus a bit more on round 2 and then go through the ladder and see who's made an impressive start and then we'll go through this week's matchups. But Crouching Lions, unlucky. Well, not unlucky, but he was a very solid scorer, and he's had a great start to the year with 2 wins, getting the job over a very improved major keys to success, Jake Cassar. Name change, we've been calling for it for a very long time to get Ben Keys, a Keys pun involved, and he's done it. And results, he's got a good side. He's been unlucky not to get a couple of wins. He's had some tough opposition.
Yeah, facing him round 1, Jake certainly put up a good fight then, and this week as well. There's certainly no shame in a 2087 there. Yeah, just say he's had a really good start, but not having his franchise player and namesake is probably an area for him, which he wouldn't mind to have. But in saying that, a lot of his players are doing quite well. But yeah, on Brett's side of things, he's started strong as he usually is, and finds himself in the second spot. So those crisp, short, and crips quite popular amongst the top teams, and he's got all 3. So he's off to a flyer.
No Matt Rao noted for Brett, but he has gone with Jai Caldwell, sort of as that mid-pricer. Which I guess was a marginally better result for him on the weekend. But, definitely an improved side for Jake, particularly his forward line. He's got Will Brodie basically as his worst forward.
Unbelievable.
Probably his back line has suffered a little bit because of that, but, much stronger team than what we've seen the last couple of years.
Incredible what you can do when you start selecting forwards who aren't key position players, which seems to be a theme of teams gone past of Jake Cassars. So, obviously a big off season for him, and certainly in some of the other competitions that we're involved in as well. He's seen a bit of improvement in the draft competition. So probably outside of the traditional fantasy format, but in both fantasy leagues, been really strong to start the season. So indicates a big off season from Jake Cassar.
Absolutely, it's good to see too. He's he was keen on it, doing some preseason research. It's good to see it sort of paid off. In terms of Brett's team, boys, his defence, maybe Heath Chapman probably hasn't worked after a strong preseason himself, and then having McCartan and Skinner there. But apart from that, he's looking very strong with even his bench, with Hugo Rousmith there and Ward and Jack Hayes and Nick Martin. So he's really got some good cash generation, which we'll all need this year. So all the signs for Brett that he's in for yet another strong season. All right. Shall we move on to your matchup, Tom? You easily defeated Daniel Healy's side, Total Eclipse of the Heart, with a nice 21-25 after a pretty good score in round 1 as well to get the job over my boys. So 2 wins. Talk us about your start.
Yeah, thanks, Scott. Obviously, this time of year, it's good to get wins on the board. Probably not the highest scores of the round, but good to knock off always a strong competitor in yourself. And then obviously, not a great fight shown by Heels on the weekend, but wins at this time of year can really set yourself up for back end of the year and to really build your side. So obviously Neil on the weekend as captain went a long way to scoring that big score. Crisp as well was a good one that bounced back following a lean round 1. Probably like a lot of teams, a bit of a dearth of defensive rookies this season. So I'll throw that one in for you.
Yeah.
That's probably an area for improvement for my side. A little bit thin that last sort of couple of positions in the defensive line.
Oh, excellent, mate. Really positive start. We've talked a little bit about Hills, so let's move on to your matchup, Ben, up against Team GC, who put up a good fight. He's been much improved as well. Just get a couple of thoughts on Team GC and yourself, mate.
Yeah, he absolutely is more improved. Almost 2,100 there, which is probably more than what he scored at all last year, I'd suggest. but no, led the way by Captain Tuk Tuk, one of his favourites. And not many blokes letting him down apart from the guy he came in twice as Stengel, the absolutely putrid 21, which was fantastic watching Friday evening. Outside of that, he's not got much wrong at all. And I definitely think he'll be having more wins this year. His 0-2 is probably a little bit, it's not as reflective as what it could be, I think. He's got some good signs for him. So,
excellent. That's good to see, Team GC. That's still the same name, unfortunately, but improved performance is what we're all about. All right, let's move on. My matchup against Surge, a bit of a close affair, but due to a couple of my uniques, it probably shouldn't have been. Surge has got a decent side this year, but having Matty Rowell, unfortunately, as a unique, and Caleb Sarong, I've started with him and I'm regretting it. It's we've gone down.
Franchise player, second year in a row, Scotty.
I know. I haven't learnt my lesson. He's got West Coast this week and bounce back. No, it's apart from that, nice to have Lockie Neal. Did I? No, I didn't do that. Josh Dunkley, my captaincy has been a little bit iffy so far this year. So to have Josh Dunkley as a VC was nice. And then Isaac Keeney coming in after trading. Taron Thomas, unfortunately, was a unique pick that didn't work out after round one. And good thing I pulled the pin. And same with old mate Justin McInerney. It was not a good starting pick, but we fixed it. And hopefully spending up on the rookies is something that I've gone with, and maybe not starting with a McRae or a Mitchell or those sort of big dog midfielders is something that I've tried for the first time this year. Whether that works or not, I don't know. But yeah, the captaincy choice, boys. Any thoughts on Dan Houston getting the C for Surge?
Very reactive from Surge. Sort of the old adage that you don't get last week's points. You need to be looking forward to the next week and really analyse the opposition and where those points might come from. So, obviously a very reactive call there from Surge. Can't help but think that might have lost him the matchup on the weekend.
Yeah, no, Houston, he had a big problem. That was major cock up from Surge.
Very good. All right, let's move on.
Just touching on Surge quickly. Scott Pendlebury, the franchise leader, as always, I guess producing the goods for him. That's above what he's done last year. But Tim Taranto is a name who's quite unique for Surge and has started really well when a few others have gone off him. So it'll be interesting to see how that pays off for him in the long run.
Very good, boys. And another coach who's 2 wins in a row and very impressive after an impressive, I'll use the impressive word again, impressive. A very good end of last year was Sam, coming into the league for the first time, started very slowly, but sort of got things moving and a bit of momentum. And that seems to have carried over this year, boys, with a win over Peter G.
It certainly has. 21-7 is, again, a really good score. And I think he sort of found his way in the league. Maybe he was a bit shy or something. Started last year, but post buys last year, he's been one of the form teams of the whole competition. And as you can see by his starting side, he's probably got a couple of questionable defensive picks. But apart from that, it's hard to question much that he's producing at the moment. So. As you say, sitting third at the moment and, flying down at the McRae's.
Really gone hard at those sort of mid-price midfielders this season. Probably one of the few sides that has all 3 of Crouch, Caldwell and Rao. So obviously mixed results from those 3. Probably can't guarantee 100 from them every week, but hopefully something to work with there for Sam, and good to see there's still areas for improvement, although he's getting wins on the board.
Excellent. All right, Rabs, you had a nice victory over the Smiths Crips, last year's premiers, of course, and you also have 2 wins to start the year with a nice 21-81. Talk us through your side.
Yeah, pretty happy to get away with a win here because I wasn't expecting to win this one. Not terribly thrilled with my side, so pretty happy to be 2-0 because it just hasn't quite come together the way I would have liked. But Mulesy putting the C on Max Scorn, fairly influential. Obviously, then backed up by Tuk Tuk's wonderful effort for the Gold Coast, just getting the job done for me. So yeah, pretty much won me the game, if I'm totally honest. So Mills has got a really good team. He'll be around the mark.
I think just spending some time with Mr. Mills on Saturday Arvo evening, he was quite happy watching Port go down, but he was also furious trying to scroll for Max Gorn's score in comparison to your captain there, Rabs. And that's the game, really. Jai Caldwell, who was pulling out some hair with his performance, but when there's so few uniques at this time of the year, it's, one or two bad or good performances in either way swings the ledger. So I think I agree. He'll be right for the year, I think.
He did happen to kick on with the extracurricular activities post the football, did he, Ben?
Now that you come to think of it, there was TMZ did get a couple of media opportunities of Mr. Mules, along with a couple of other coaches, not only in this group for him, but also in the extended group, for a couple of drinks. I think they were downing his sorrows of having gone captain. So yeah, I'm sure Mr. Mules he's a big socialite in the winter, so I'm sure that won't be the first.
No, very good, boys. We've unfortunately my Zoom isn't linked to school at the moment, so we only have about eight and a half minutes left on recording time.
Fox, wrap it up.
Yeah, so we're gonna fly through. We've got the Sisterhoods getting their first victory up against Hugh Stone's side. So the Sisterhoods obviously narrowly losing to Sean Newell last week. Heartbreaking. They really were disappointed by that result. But to come up with a 21-31, they've made an impressive start, boys. Just a few quick words, including if you have a look on the desktop app, the custom logo is something to behold.
Really pouring everything into it. Bit of behind the scenes here. Obviously, assistant coach of one of the Sisterhoods coaches. It's really competitive spirit is overflowing from both coaches, as it seems, and plenty of messages back and forth over the course of the weekend. And some quite extreme calls that they've either won or lost the game quite early in the weekend. So I think there's a little bit of experience to be had there in terms of sort of waiting to see how things pan out. Certainly very much invested in this early stage.
There has been some rumours flying around by some coaches here of any sort of collusion in amongst the other franchises. Just want to make sure we put that to bed quite early, that they are solely on their own terms and running their own site, please.
Yeah, they absolutely are. They've got their own account. I and Tom have no access to that. We don't know how to get into it. It is purely their team. They have weekly team meetings to discuss selection. Purely what I talked to Ash, I being an assistant coach, I just advise her. Rookies has been the only main source of information. Is I've sort of advised some rookies, but they've picked the structure, they've picked the premiums, and the captain choices. So they're doing a wonderful job. They've made a strong start and showing. I think it's lifting the competition really. Like we've got a lot of teams that have been comfortable for a long time, and for the Sisterhoods to come along and sort of shake things up, I think is a good thing.
Very good.
Excellent. All right. About 6 minutes, guys. So quickly, sorry, Dale, apologies. You got a win on the weekend up against the midfielders who might be one of the bottom sides this year. It's looking like potentially. And then a tight matchup there with the Burpins getting the job done up against Sean Newell. So the Burpins also some extracurricular activities on the weekend. Was semi-happy with his team, would you say, Ben? I think there's definitely room for improvement. But he's definitely, Zach Butters is his boy. That's for sure.
Yes, from what I can recall, Scott, he's quite happy with his work. Yeah, he's 2-0, so he started the year red hot last season, and then came to a crashing burn after the bye. So, yeah, getting a good start is one thing, but keeping it up all season is another. So hopefully he's learnt for his behalf.
Just a quick one to call out. Sorry, just going back a match up for the midfielders. Scrimshaw, they're occupying a spot in the back line, so I want to keep an eye on that.
Yes, I did notice that. And I guess while we're on Mids, Rabs, any sort of comment about Mids' approach to pre-season? We know he's late to enter the competition.
Yes.
Does that, show where he's at with his side?
Quite possibly, yeah. Yeah, haven't seen Todd for a couple of weeks since the season is completed, but some very interesting decisions he's made there with Mitch Georgiades getting a run in the forward line, and Gresh. Yeah, some would say it's a very unusual decision to have him on field forward. So, look, hopefully things will be going upwards for Todd, but yeah, a bit of a rough start.
All righty, let me just share my screen really quickly, boys. We're just going to have a look at this week's fixtures, and then we'll move swiftly onwards, I think. So here we go. Let's get the fixtures this week. Here we go. There's the ladder.
Yeah, that clock too. Beautiful. 4 minutes.
Yep, 4 minutes. 3:58. Here we go. All right, we've got huge matchup. Crouching Lions up against Phenomenal. Boys, what do we see going on here?
Not much. We can't see the teams.
Oh yeah, that's fair. Apologies. That's maybe just a word without seeing the teams, just like a bit of a Rabs bet prediction.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that segment. Just having a quick look. There's only six uniques between these two, so not much separating them, literally. So yeah, it'd be interesting. Should be tight.
Very tight game.
Matt Rao for me. That's the one. Could win or lose it for Tom.
Excellent. All right. Major keys to success up against Team GC. And this is an intriguing matchup, boys. The big improvers in the off-season, a lot of talk from both of them. We're going to see who comes out on top. I'm going with Jake, I think.
Yeah, I'll go with Jake as well. Haven't seen him round one. And just a note, it wasn't too hard to improve on what they did last year. They came bottom and second bottom.
I'd go with Jake as well. I reckon though, Team GC, Miller and Steele, if they go enormous, that could make a fair difference.
Absolutely. We've got Heels up against Surge. Having played Surge last week, he's got a decent team. He's got the good bones of a team. So I think Surge, you guys agree? Yep, happy days. All right, Ben up against Peter G. Ben, I reckon you're going to get the chocolates. We all agree?
Agreed.
We're playing each other. How good's that?
So I just had one comment on Peter. I did see, I've done some research this week. He's, I believe he's hired an assistant coach. So, that'll be interesting to see how the form line goes there. So, congratulations to Peter and his appointment. I hope it all goes well.
Is that Queen Kunta?
Yes.
Fantastic. On fire here. Rabs, who's winning, you or me?
Oh, hopefully. Me. I don't know. I think it'll be interesting, Scott. I'm just trying to find our matchup here. Similar sort of.
Not that many pods, actually. Yeah.
Seven pods. So, yeah, not too sure. Sarong will be interesting for your.
Yes.
For your model.
He's up against West Coast. That's my only hope. All right, let's move on.
As a unique, interesting.
Yeah, Gordy needs the lift. Bloody hell. McRae, you've done it again. Sam, up against the Sisterhoods boys. Big matchup here with the Sisterhoods playing against your side, Ben. So they're really looking hard at this week for a strong performance. Predictions, boys?
I'm going Sisterhoods.
Ooh, I've got the Sisterhoods.
Yeah, I agree.
Because you're invested.
All right, less than 1 minute. Let's smash through this. Smith's Cripps or the midfielders? Smith's Cripps.
Crippers.
Huge game for Hughes' side. If he can pull off a win here, that'll get him off to a really good start, get his 2 wins, whereas Brad is sort of, got his couple of wins early. What do we see, boys?
I think Brad's got this one.
Yeah, I think Brad.
Yeah.
This
And
is
then
great. I reckon Liberatores.
Liberatores, yes, nice. And then the B Sharps up against Sean Newell. Newell seems to have got a decent side this year. He seems to put in a bit more effort, so I'm going to back him in.
Yeah, back in Sean. Big pre-season for the Glen Manton fan club. So